Alright, we're doing Ned, Bran, and Catelyn. Okay, so, Ned. Arya has been missing for 4 days apparently. It seemed so much quicker in the books. Like, I don't remember them saying how long she'd been gone, but it kind of seemed like she ran off and then that night she was found. 4 days this girl was gone. She's a beast. Who does that? She was like, I'm out. Arya is brought before the king and the queen and Joffrey and everybody instead of being taken to Ned, and he is pissed off. By the way, they're staying at Raymond Darry's house, and he was a supporter of the Targaryens. I'm assuming all these names are going to come in later on, which is why you give people names. Because otherwise, like, why would he bother giving us names of all these people? Seems pointless. Anyway, but I mean, it's awkward with the Lannisters and the Starks, and then Baratheon and Targaryen, like, Targaryen supporter. Like, it's awkward. It's awkward in the house. This part of the book really did play out kind of like it did in the show. Arya's before the king. She's like, I'm sorry. Ned's all pissed. He's like, why wasn't my daughter brought to me? Robert, you can tell, is just so sick of this stupid situation. You know it's just Cersei. Robert orders both the kids to tell their side of the story. Arya tells what really happened, of course, and really, who was there, who wasn't there in the books, he is cracking up, and he's the one who says, you let this girl the size of a wet rat, like, disarm you, whatever, and he's cracking up, and Robert's like, you know, someone please escort my brother out of the chambers, he's choking. He's like, no, I got it, I'm good. And he like laughs, he's like lion's tooth when he walks out of the room. I like him. Joffrey, of course, lies and says they came over and attacked him, which is bullshit. They bring Sansa in. She's like, I don't know what happened. It all happened so fast. I get it. She was scared. She's before the king. She's betrothed to her loving Joffrey. He doesn't mean loving anymore. Arya jumps on her, which is just as funny in the book as it is in the show. And then Cersei says that girl's as wild as that filthy animal of hers, and you just want to like, you just want to like, Robert's done with it. He's like, you deal with your son, I'll deal with my daughter, we'll be done with it. Ned's like, thank you. And then of course Cersei jumps in and says, what about the beast that scarred your son? Girl. They substitute Lady in. That's when it finally hits Sansa. Oh, this shit's serious. It would have been okay if it was just Nymeria who actually did the deed. We understand that. But you didn't tell the truth, and now your dog's going to pay for it. So you should have told the truth about what happened, jerk. Even though they probably still would have wanted the wolf put down, but she was protecting Arya because he was being an asshole. Ned is all upset about it. He's pissed. Robert doesn't really respond to him. He just looks at Cersei and is like, damn you woman, and he walks off all pissed because he had to hurt his friend over this bullshit. So Lady has to be killed. Cersei says to go get Sir Ilynpaine, and Ned's like, no, she's from the north. She should die the North way. By the way, he's told Robert he's the one that should do it since he's passed the sentence, and Robert, like, whatever, he walked off. So Ned's going to kill her. I thought it was interesting that he said, you know, she's from the north. She deserves better than a butcher. He said that in the show as well. But I never really thought about that. Like, he didn't even want his dog or wolf, whatever, dying by someone in the north. And yet his head was taken off by Sir Ilynpaine. Like, Sir Ilynpaine wasn't even good enough for his wolf. Okay? That's how much he hated someone who didn't pass the sentence doing the punishment, whatever. Like, Sir Ilynpaine wasn't good enough for his dog, and then his head was taken off by him. After he's done killing Lady, he has 4 of the Stark men take her back to Winterfell so she could be buried properly, which melted my heart. As he's leaving, he sees the Hound with the butcher's boy that he rode down and killed. So basically, like the wound was from like shoulder to waist. So he was just on his horse and just killed him. And he's like, you ran him down. And he's like, well, he ran. So I thought it was interesting that in the book, the Hound laughs about it. But in the show, they made him a lot more somber. Like, he ran. Like, he just said it kind of matter-of-factly. But in the book, he laughed. I like the subtle kind of itty-bitty changes they made to some of the characters, because why would the Hound laugh about that? Like, that's not funny. And he does what he's ordered to do, but that doesn't mean he likes it. He's not joyous about it like he is like in the book. Not that he's joyous, but like he laughed like, okay, well, whatever. That's Ned's chapter. Next is Branch chapter, and it's basically just a whole big awakening to him, his introduction into becoming a three-eyed raven. Like, his whole dream is him falling, saying he doesn't know how to fly, the crow or the raven saying, I'm going to teach you. He's seeing all this. He's seeing everything that's happening right now in the present. Like, he sees his brother, he sees Hodor, he sees his mom on the ship with a dagger in front of her. He sees dragons flying under a Dothraki sky. He sees things that are kind of like happening now. He's resisting this whole time, saying, I don't have wings, I don't have wings. And a raven saying, you do have wings, I'm going to teach you to fly. He's falling, and then he wakes up at the end of this dream in his bed. And Summer comes over to him, and she's warm, he's very cold, and the heat from her body is what makes him name her Summer. Finally, one of the lines from this book is, you'll die if you hit the ground. That's very not true. I've hit the ground a couple times, and you wake up like, but you're fine. I don't recommend it. Try to wake up, but you're fine. Hey, Catelyn. So her and Sir Roderick go on their ship with Captain Tamidas, whatever, on their way to King's Landing. Sir Roderick was sick the whole time. He had a jelly belly. And he's like apologizing for not really being there for her to protect her. And she's like, I'm fine. The two of them are planning to go see the Master of Arms to see if he knows about this knife. And they ask the captain of the ship, Captain, is it Moreo? Yeah, Moreo Tamidas, where they should stay. So he recommends an inn. She promised each of the oarsmen, there were 60 of them, a silver dragon for getting them there so quickly. And the captain of the ship is like, you know, give it to me, I'll hand it out. She's like, no, I'll give it to him because you might keep it. He's like, you know, these men, this should be for their wives and children. These men might say, like, spend this in the city or whatever. And she's like, well, that's their decision. If they're grown men, they should have charge of their own money, like, whatever. So she personally hands out the money to the men. I like that because, you don't know, that captain probably would have kept it. He totally would have kept it. Charged them for, like, food and made them keep, like, you know. So she and Sir Roderick are heading off to this inn, and they're talking about Littlefinger. He asks, why don't you go to Littlefinger? And she's like, well, you know, it's Littlefinger. And she says, he was always clever even as a boy, but it's one thing to be clever and another to be wise. That is so true, and that so pretty much sums up Littlefinger. He's very clever. Very clever. Wise? Not so much. So they go to the inn. She gets all settled in. Sir Roderick goes off to the armory to talk to the armory master, whatever. And she's laying in bed, and there's a knock on her door. Soldiers come in, say by order of the king. She's ordered to take her somewhere, and she's like, how the hell, where? And she realizes it's Littlefinger, so she gets dressed and goes to see him, and he's all slimy, standing there. It struck me how much it just sucks to have to be at the whim of other people. Like, she's summoned to the castle, so she has to go. She can't just be like, you know what, no, I don't feel like it, leave me alone. Because she could possibly get in trouble. He's on the council if she says no. Or if that were like Varys or someone who has summoned her and she refused, like, she could get in trouble. Screw that. Oh, I also forgot to mention, once again, Grimm is fantastic at describing the scenery of them coming into the bay, you know, like she can hear the fisherman's market not too far away, that she describes the Red Keep and the city, what it looks like, and how Aegon the Conqueror came in and like cleaned the land and built everything. It's funny, you really get a sense throughout this whole story of how much the Targaryens did to make this kingdom. It makes me even more mad at Rhaegar for causing all this bullshit, and then for Robert for taking it from this family who had like established this, you know. I wonder if that was his, it feels like that was his intention, to be like, you know, everywhere you look, something having to do with the Targaryens is there because their presence is so embedded in this kingdom. So for it to be taken away from them over that bullshit it sucks. And you don't really feel that in the show. Like, it's a world, it's the Game of Thrones world, it's Westeros. But you don't really get how embedded the Targaryens are in, like, every point. Catelyn says to Littlefinger, like, I'm not accustomed to being summoned. I'm like, yeah, girl, for real. And he's like, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, Littlefinger. Varys comes in and knows, like, everything. He knows about the dagger because he heard Sir Roderick and the armory guy talking about it. He's the one who told Littlefinger she was in town. He sent his little spiders out to listen and follow Sir Roderick, so they know that when he got to the end that he was upset, and that he and that Master of Arms are like sitting there having a drink and talking about things right now, waiting for her to come back. Like, he is on everything. That's scary. And then she asks about the dagger. Littlefinger says he knows where it came from. He said it was his and he lost it in the joust thing when Jaime fought Loras, and that Tyrion was the one who had won the knife. Alright, that's it. Next time we'll have Jon's 3rd chapters, Eddard's 4th chapter, and Tyrion's 3rd chapter. That's it. How are you all getting along with the book? Are you like past me? Are you keeping up with me and just checking in for every chapter? We're making good progress. I think like by the end of this week we should be like around halfway through the book, right? And that's it. I'm going to put the poll over here of what book we could pick to read next, just so we can get a feel of what the next book is going to be. And if you want to go ahead and buy it and go ahead and read it and have some time to sit on it before we start the review, you can do that. And that's it. I will see you tomorrow.